Hello. Hold on. Let me turn on this microphone. Hello, everybody. Hi. How's it going? Oh, no. No. Not now.
There we go. Alright,
Mine was
hello.
off too. That's so funny.
Yeah. Alright, we're good.
The microphone was off just as well. I was sitting there going like this.
Same, dude.
We're about to struggle bus really hard.
100%. Always happens.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello. My name is Sean Graves. And this guy over here.
I'm D-Dog. Cat 36.
And welcome to the Evil Hour, the all things survival horror podcast, including our experiences, thoughts, and hot takes. And we are your hosts, the dudes of dudes, the horror enthusiasts, and renegades in the underground. And in today's episode, we are talking about something that has turned, how old again? 12?
Yeah, 12 years. Yep.
This thing.
Silent Hill Downpour. I don't have a copy.
Downpour. It's fine. Wait, weren't you playing this game?
Yeah.
Oh, you downloaded it.
Yeah.
Got it. I was like, wait a minute. Connect the dots, Sean. I'm a little slow. It's okay. It's fine. I'm still like the old school like gamer where I'm like, oh, didn't you buy that over at like the store or something like that? Like,
No, that's one of them I need in my collection though, just because I have everything else.
I'm gonna give you a heads up. This is not particularly a popular one in the community. This is kind of like the ass end final nail in the coffin of Silent Hill running its course. If we do not count Book of Memories.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think what we should do is read the back here. Because I think like the back, I mean, you see like the front cover, it's like, ooh, Silent Hill Downpour. And you see like this guy with like an axe and it's rainy, but it's not. It's black and white, and But the back it says, "Who can stop the rain? Join Convict Murphy Pendleton in Silent Hill, where fear and torment are inescapable." Okay, so that's that.
That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
No, because it's in like different languages. There's like Spanish and French on the back of my box here.
Description.
This is
I
like
give
the
that
Spanish,
like
and this
one.
is that was literally it. Join Murphy Pendleton in Silent Hill, and where there's fear, torment, and it's inescapable. But plot twist.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we already kind of introduced our protagonist here, Murphy Pendleton. First and foremost, D-Dog Cat, you've played this game a little bit.
Yeah.
What did you expect coming from this game?
So
I'll tell you what I expected later.
So honestly, I hate to say it like this and be how do I want to say it? I don't really want to say a hypocrite or anything, but it's just another word I can't think of. But basically, I was thinking a Silent Hill game. Has the name in the title, it has to be a Silent Hill game. Took a different direction than what I thought. But what about you?
Why was that?
Because
why did it take a different turn? Like, what made it go off the rails?
It didn't feel like Silent Hill at all. Like, in some parts.
Oh.
In some
parts.
Yeah,
okay.
like some parts, like that I would get into later on in my topic is the city part. Like that felt Silent Hill when you're like in the city. I think that's like a city, isn't it? Like with all the buildings.
Well, once you actually get into Silent Hill.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so like that part kind of felt Silent Hill-ish, but there's just others where it just kind of like the beginning is like it was nice. It was a cute little touch, but the rail part.
Here's the problem with here's what my first impression was, and that is, again, what was the horror game that just came out like maybe 6 months prior to this?
What was it?
Alan Wake.
Oh, yeah.
So I had like Alan Wake feelings
right.
going into this, and then I was like, well, I mean, if everyone's talking to everybody, I know they're different dev teams, but I was like, you
Right.
know, you kind of see a pattern here,
Yeah.
you know, with like the forest thing going on. Freaking, I'll say off the bat, I thought it was very interesting to take on, like, I'll say this, going out the gate knowing that you're a convict
Right.
is so different
Yeah.
than any other Silent Hill. Because, like, normally Silent Hill, it's like you're playing like a normal person. You're supposed to play the normal, everyday guy or gal.
Right.
And then it's like you're put in this shitty situation, i.e., wherever you are, Silent Hill, etc., and you survive, right?
Yeah.
And in this one, well, except for Homecoming, we don't talk about that one. That was a weird one.
That was.
But the thing is that like happen in the games where like you find out like, oh, your protagonist is not as like heroic. There's something that is a character flaw.
Right.
You know? Or something stuff. I don't know much about Harry having a character flaw. He just had to grow up.
Yeah.
He had to change.
Yeah.
You know, I think Heather had to deal with revenge, you know, that kind of giving into that evil. We all know about James and his pillow.
You know, it's funny is actually I was gonna bring up the same exact thing. Like that's why I kind of gravitated towards Murphy more is because like kind of what you said, and that's why I wanted to bring up on my behalf was like you play as, you know, a father looking for his missing child, a guy who's looking for his sick wife. You know, and then Travis who deals with trauma. But with that being said, when you're playing as a convict, it's like, okay, like
we already know.
Yeah.
Right. Like this guy's already AFU.
And I'm not
he
gonna
does not
lie.
have probably
Like right off the back though, it catches your attention because you're in jail, you're doing this stuff, and it's like, damn, and it's all this happening before. You know, we'll get into that part, but before you go to
your in-game,
Hill.
your in-game part, yeah.
So I love what they like. Honestly, playing the beginning, I love. They nailed that right off the. I mean,
like the initial beginning, like the okay.
So I like that because it kind of gives you his not so much in depth, but it gives you his backstory, like a little quick backstory, as in you're a convict, you're in jail. You're obviously cocky to the police officers because you're like, fuck you, guy. And it gives you this nice little touch of, oh shit, like this guy is nobody to fuck with.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Hold on 1 second.
Nope, you're fine.
I just realized something. When I talk into this microphone, oh, okay, hold on. I just learned a trick. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, you're good.
What if I change this? Okay, what if I change this? Does it sound good? Hold on, let me change this up just for a second. Okay, can you talk for a second?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Gotta like, I gotta like bring down the audio for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I bring this up, like that. Okay. We'll try like this. Sweet. We'll try like this. I'm sorry, like my audio, I just like realized like, oh snap, like I probably need to like fix just this little trick that I learned.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm trying it out to see how that works out for me.
I was gonna tell you if you could turn your volume just up a little bit. You're a little bit quiet. Quiet. On mine, I'm like perfect, but I like overrule you.
How's this?
Perfect, but
how's this?
I like overrule you.
And when I talk like this, do I sound good? Talk like this, do I sound good?
It's a little quiet still.
It's a little quieter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Still.
Okay. Well, then I can always go back to the original audio.
Yeah, that's fine.
Settings here.
As I said, my volume is perfect though, but.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that like I noticed that when I talk into the microphone, it's almost like I'm echoing, but I'm not. And I thought that maybe there was a
There you go. That's perfect now. Whatever you just did.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay, so I changed my audio settings to monitor and output.
Gotcha.
My apologies. I wasn't monitoring and outputting earlier. I wasn't monitoring. Because I thought that it was going through Discord. Never mind. So back to the talk, to the subject matter here. Sorry about that. Freaking, I liked the intro. I thought the intro was cool. I thought that like the immediacy of like learning how to play your character, and like instead of it being told to you or like revealing itself that like Murphy Pendleton's a convict and he's in jail for any reason, you don't really get like the whole reason why he's in, but you do get like, you just know that he's in there for a reason. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's like almost like, I'll say this, it's uneasy to play a protagonist who is a convict because you don't know why you're there, but the delivery of this game on telling you why he's in is so slow.
Yeah.
Like an ice glacier.
Yeah.
Like, it is so bad. It is just not giving. And like at some point I'm sitting here going like this, I don't really care.
Yeah. You kind of just die. It loses its effect.
Yeah. Much like I mean, like for Origins, like we'll get to that game later on, but my personal issue with Travis even being in Silent Hill was that like, why is this guy even that concerned?
Right. He was really
from the get-go. So like, you know, I get that like we first meet George Sewell, who is like one of the police officers.
Yep.
And he kind of sets up Pendleton to commit murder. So like you're off the bat committing murder.
Yeah.
But then you wake up in a dream and it's like, well, was that real? Was that fake? Like,
right.
You know, or was it just another day in the hood? Like, you never know, you know?
Right.
I thought that, I don't know if you saw this, but when I saw Officer Sewell, I immediately thought of Kevin Bacon.
Really?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're going for.
He kind of looks like, yeah, the cupcake officer. The guy, the officer is like this. Hey there, cupcake.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, Officer Sewell. Not these cakes.
No. Man, no, but when you get on the bus and it has that raining and this storm going on, man, I loved that. Like, it was a cool transaction. And especially when
you meet, I was gonna say, especially when you meet Annie for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up.
Or Cunningham. Yeah
It's just like it's just beautiful how they honestly initiate the beginning. I feel like they got that on point. I love it. They couldn't have done any better. Unfortunately, the rest of the game, though, we'll get into. Because I'm not impressed. What about you,
So we go through the tutorial. I feel like, for me, the intro was giving, especially with the music. This is the first game, but this is the first game that Akira Yamaoka does not do anything musically, okay? So what they did was they hired two artists. One, Korn.
What?
We got a song. Yeah, so we got a song called Silent Hill by Korn. So Jonathan Davis of Bakersfield, California, sings a song about Silent Hill.
I did not
And in the middle
know that,
refrain,
dude.
he sings, I close my eyes, I go to sleep, they're always there, I start to weep.
What?
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's like 2012 for me, and I'm like jamming to this song, going like, Korn, man. But then also, like, it kind of hit me, and I was like this. Why the hell is Silent Hill going mainstream with Korn?
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't hire Marilyn Manson or like 9 Inch Nails or like, I mean, especially 9 Inch Nails. I mean, that was a direct influence for Akira Yamaoka, who did the music for all of Silent Hill up till now.
Right.
But then, they hired Daniel Licht. He's passed away now. He's no longer with us in this world. But he is most famous for doing the music for the TV show Dexter.
Okay.
Yeah. He also did music for Book of Memories, and then that was the wrap up for his music contribution to our beloved West Virginia town.
Now you blew my mind about that though. I didn't know Korn actually sung that part. Now that you said it, now I can hear it because
I will
that's
try
badass.
I will try to find that YouTube for you. And then on top of that, because I knew that the lineup for Akira Yamaoka was no longer going to be a thing before this game came out, I was like curious, going like, well, Joe, what's his name? Joe. He did the vocals for Silent Hill 4. He did the vocals for Homecoming.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Hometown from Silent Hill 3. He did the vocals for a couple of other songs with Akira Yamaoka, and then Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. I was worried that she wasn't going to be on the video game as well. And in the intro scene, when you go through Cell Block, right, walking to your bus, you hear her vocals come in, and I was just like, oh, take me away, you know? Like, you can't have a Silent Hill game without Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's vocals in there somehow. Like, she is, unfortunately, I feel like the voice of Silent Hill, the songstress of Silent Hill, you know? Since Silent Hill 3, you know? Like, if you hear any vocals on any tracks, it's always her, you know? She's known for playing, well, in Cowboy Bebop, she plays as Julia for Spike Spiegel's girlfriend, fiance wife thing. She also plays as Major Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell, the animated series. A couple of movies. She's also done Naruto. She's directed that series, and she's a huge voice actress. Like, look her up. She's a thing, but she doesn't do much singing. She only does singing specifically with Akira Yamaoka.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so but like the divergence with having Daniel Licht on sound design at this point was like, oh, okay, design choice, but I agree with it. I liked what he did. I will not say that he didn't do a good job. I think that, like, there were moments, I don't know if you noticed, but like there were like mandolin moments. Right? And I love that because he himself said in an interview that the only reason why he used a mandolin as a particular instrument was because of the first video game. He was trying to play homage to Akira Yamaoka without it being too much of a like copy. You know, too much of a copy, you know?
That's cool.
There were parts in that game where like sonically, like when you're walking around, like no matter where you are, like just walking around randomly, I love the fact that he used just a whistle, like a flute. And just echoed the shit out of it, you know? And it would just be like, oh, okay. I never thought that a flute would sound that involved, you know? So it's just little things like that. I love Daniel Licht's take on the music here. I thought that was great. You get 2 songs from the playlist, from the album. You used to be able to listen to it on iTunes. Now they took it away. But Mary Elizabeth McGlynn was on 2 tracks, and Joe was not. And I will say, as soon as you get the tumble of the bus, and then it goes to black, and you see Silent Hill Downpour, and it rushes to you, and then it's like you're in game at that moment. I would say up until the point where you go to the Devil's Pit, like the first Devil's Pit. This is the first place we're going to, by the way, everybody. This is the beginning of the padding. I don't know what else to call this. I was like, well, okay, padding. But we meet Howard the Postman. That's probably like our first character that we ever meet that's like kind of a local, if you will. How do you feel about Howard as a character?
Man, I loved him. When I first introduced him, it's just like he had the... how can I say it? I guess... He had like
he felt like to me Morgan Freeman.
That's what I was going to say, bro. He had that characteristic where he's just like sarcastic,
calmness,
but really soothing.
calm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my
Right?
God. And that's why I fell in love
Yeah.
with him, because I was just like, dude, yes, like I want you to stick around, man.
Mhm. Honestly, like, I'm kinda glad though that, like, we don't get a whole lot of Howard in this game.
Right.
We only get a little bit of him. We only see him, like, 3 or I think, like, 4 times in a
Yeah.
row. I
Yeah.
think 4, but it could be I'm really solid on 3. I think the last time we see him at Devil's Pit. We see him outside the apartment, which is I kind of call it a level, but I don't know if it's really a level. I've never
Right.
sped run. I've
Yeah.
always been like la 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 la.
Yeah.
But like after the apartment, you go to the radio tower, and I think that's the last time you see him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of lackadaisical. It's almost like a throwaway character almost at that point,
and
you
that's
know?
what I hated about it. Like, I do agree with you said. Like, I'm happy that he wasn't like in your face all the time. But what the fuck happened to him? Why did we just?
Well, I mean, he has like one job. He always says like, he did say that like he has this mail to deliver, but it's like, well, you're in an abandoned town, so like you're the only employee here, dude.
Right.
Not gonna argue with you. Live your best life. But
Right.
but like after that, like he kind of hands like doesn't he hand a letter
Yep.
to Murphy a couple times?
Yeah.
He hands one at the end, and that's the key to get to St. Maria's. Hint, hint, if you're a Silent Hill 2 fan. But then, like, I don't remember at the beginning. I think he tells Murphy asks him if he knows anything about the song dedications going out to him. And Howard says, no, but I know that there's a radio station in the center of town, so maybe you should go there. And then
Right.
that takes you to that second part of that game there, you know?
Yeah.
Howard, yeah, I feel like he was a throwaway character. They didn't really know what to do with him. He was just kind of like a just a breadcrumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was just there.
Like, I don't know how to explain that.
A filler,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But he's such a cool character.
He
Like, I wish we knew
is.
more about him.
He is.
Like, why is he there? Why is he the only postman? Like, we never
Yeah.
even go to the post office,
No.
man.
The thing I want to get into before we get
Oh, sure.
at least deeper in the levels is, so this kind of comes up with Devil's Pit and everything, is
Oh, yeah.
the one flaw that I fucking hate, and it's so stupid, is that how they'll put items right next to the things that you need to unlock. So for example, if there is a door, yeah, you already know where I'm going with this. Like, I hate to say it, why can't we do it like Homecoming, where you pick up an axe and now you have an axe in your inventory? I don't know if they were going for more realism, where not all of them, are sharp.
No, so you know as well as I do that this is not the first rodeo show for breakable items.
That is true. That is
So
true.
Origins was the first Silent Hill game that had that new mechanic, and everyone
Right.
fucking hated it because it's like, why is a katana 1, 2, 3 and then it breaks?
Right.
Like, is this katana made out of like Kit Kat bars or something?
I
Like,
ain't
is
gonna
it a
lie, though,
Snickers
the
bar? What
TV's
is
coming
this?
clutch, man.
Oh, yes.
But
Right? Like, Travis just be chucking radios at nurses.
oh, dude,
and
for
then,
days.
Yeah.
But no,
Or like
that-
jugs of alcohol. But I
that's
think they kind of nailed. I think they
Ah.
nailed that mechanic here.
I just found it annoying because it was more like, it didn't give me the factor of what I kind of looked at it as more like they were kind of making more Silent Hill kind of free roamish, if that makes sense, because you can literally, without like going to point A to point B, and Silent Hill Downpour, you could go point A to point C to point B, which whether you're following the storyline or not, so that's kind of cool. But I always just found it annoying. It's like, oh, there's a boarded up door there. Well, right there's the pickaxe, and it's like, why did you put it right beside the fucking door, dude? Like, can you at least let me, like, I don't know, there was the diner that you could walk into. Can I like discover and be like, oh, there's the pickaxe, and I'll run back. I just hated how no matter what it was, if it was a lock, if it was boarded up doors, like they put the item right beside it.
Or like the
ladder thing. The
ladder thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, but also like, I don't know if this is true, but I mean, have you heard of seed time?
I have not.
Okay, so seed time's a thing. I think this is a thing with video game. Well, I know that's a thing with Silent Hill 2. So if you start the game at a specific the game's on, like even in menu, it's on, right?
Right.
So when you start the game in menu, like gong, like I'm starting, there's a initial clock time and it sets how the game's gonna be played.
Oh.
So Silent Hill 2 is very particular about that because there's certain things that happen in game that if you don't get the right seed time, you're going to miss clock times for speed running. Like officially speed running. Look into it, it's a real thing. I don't know if Downpour is like that, but I do know that depending on the difficulties, like certain drops will happen at certain places. Because like sometimes, like when you're trying to go through Silent Hill, there's a ladder thing, right?
Ladder hook, yep.
That you have to get. Yeah, okay. So sometimes I've noticed that like in the same backyard is a hook, a fish hook to pull it down.
Right.
I've also noticed that like I have to go all the way back to like the police office.
Yeah.
Or the police station to go find something around that area to then bring it back and go.
Yeah.
Like that and just hope that it doesn't start downpouring.
Right.
Which, by the way, that becomes a mechanic in this game at this point. Well, kind of at this point. Like, by the time we get to Devil's Pit, not so much.
Right.
But before that, when we're at the diner, we start to learn that, like, when it starts to rain, the monsters come out to play.
Right.
Yeah. How do you feel about that mechanic?
It's different, and I like it. Because it's more like, kind of what you said, it's more of just... It gives it more of, what I said is it gives it more of the free roaming aspect where you're just going around and then once the rain, like you said, once the downpour starts happening, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So
I felt like
gives it.
I felt like when the rain was coming down, like the monsters were coming out even stronger.
Yes.
More horde-like, and like also, I felt like my field of vision was also blurred.
Yeah.
Was that a thing? I felt like that was a thing. I don't know if like I have astigmatism, so like when I play games, sometimes the lighting is a little different, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm never really sure if like my blurred vision is me or the game sometimes, so I don't know.
But since we're on that topic, before we go into our journey, let's get into our first monster or monsters, I should say. Since we're at
holy snot buckets. So we first run into the Screamer.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Screamers?
Okay. No. I don't. No? I'm not a fan of it. Like the monsters.
We have Tis Peak. We got It Gets the Job Done. They Tried. This Ain't It. It was a design choice.
I would definitely say, ooh, I don't know. I'm teetering, but I'm teetering in between They Tried. Yeah, and you know what? No, fuck it. I would say They Tried. At least with that one. Yeah. Are we talking about this specific one? Because there's different ones I want to go. Okay. Yeah, that one. Yeah, They Tried. They tried.
I think it's a different take, definitely, on trying to avoid bringing in more nurses than what we need.
Yes.
So thankfully, this is the one time we get a Silent Hill game with no nurses.
Which pisses me off. Like, I'm glad.
I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Because there's a whole opportunity later on in the game where we could have nurses and we didn't get them. And I'm so glad for that.
That is true.
I'm so glad for that. You know?
Yeah, because I guess after a while, especially when you're on your, I don't know what game it is, so I'm going to be over exaggerate here.
8th game.
Okay, so especially when you're on your 8th game and you already done seen 7 other games with nurses, I'll give you that. I didn't think of it like that. I guess I was being harsh, so.
No, you're not. It's like, unless if it's like kind of brought up, it's kind of like, oh well, when we think Silent Hill, we think nurses, Pyramid Head,
Right.
Alessa, cult, all those things.
Right.
And for the first time, like we have a female monster that is like not a thing.
Right.
Yeah. I think that they're the way that they're built, like they got like claw hands.
Yeah.
And then they like the reason why they scream is because when they scream, they can make Murphy like kind of dizzy or something like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to shake it off a little bit, but then like afterwards, like you can just rough and tumble them up. But you have to, I don't know. I think like most of the protagonists up until this point, you were able to walk up to them and just kind of stomp into them and then finish them off.
Right.
These guys, like you actually have to kind of oompa them. You have to like actually use your weapon, and God forbid you use your fist. There was a couple hairy times for myself particularly where I had to use my fist, and I was like,
right. And I'm trying to find it right now. What is the next monster we go up to? Because I forget what's their name.
The Void. Because we go in the Devil's Pit restaurant. We go to the other side.
Or is it the
No.
Oh, okay. So it is the
at the Devil's Pit restaurant. We go through these. Well, we don't really have screamers at that point, but we have the Void.
Right.
That black hole sucking thing.
I hated that thing.
Here's the reason why I don't like it either. I'm glad that you said that. I'm feeling like this ain't it, and here's why. If I did not know what was sucking up behind me, I would be more scared. But since you gave me like a whole introductory cutscene of a black hole chasing after me, now I'm not scared.
And that one I would definitely put in design choice, because what the fuck does that have to do with anything about Silent Hill at all?
Or, I mean, like anything that deals with like Murphy, like any kind of manifestation that would scare Murphy.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I feel like we've gotten such a tall tale of like Murphy's of water is scary.
Right.
Or some to that effect. Like, but this Void thing, I'm just kind of like...
Not about.
You could have delivered that in a completely different way.
100%.
Keep the Void if you want it, but don't introduce it as a Void. I don't know. I don't know anything else. Oh, yeah. The Devil's Pit caves, right?
Right.
That's where we meet what you were talking about, the bat thing.
Bat.
I hate those things.
Those was another thing I'm gonna throw in design choice, and I'm not trying to be harsh here, but just like you said, I hated those because I can't tell you how many times I wanted to go through the level. May I remind you, I'm gonna bring this up once I talk about the monster, but and just dying to them, because when they drop like 3 of them at a time, sometimes 2. And they're just a pain in the fucking ass to even try to dodge to continue on. Because I was that person. Like, I just stopped fighting. I just tried to dodge them, and then I would end up dying. This is what I was going to bring up. The spawn points. Why? Yeah. The spawn points aren't the fucking bad. They're kind of like Silent Hill Homecoming spawn points, where it's just like, oh, you guys saved right here, and then you go all the way right here, and then you couldn't find any saves right here, so then you gotta go even farther. Oh, there's a save right here, but if you didn't make it to that one, you gotta start all the way back, and it's like, all the way back. What the fuck? And that's how Silent Hill Downpouring went. I can't tell you how many times I honestly rage quit because of it. But what's up?
Yeah, especially in Devil's Pit, it's like that. I don't think it happens like that for the rest of the game, but like, I mean, by that point, I'm already like kind of in my groove, my mood, like, kind of just la la la, you know.
Skipping forward though, let's go ahead and get to the town/city, right?
Oh, finally, we made it to Ashfield.
Yes.
We made it to Ashfield Heights. That's where we're at. So we haven't been here since Silent Hill 4.
Okay, yeah.
So if you didn't know, Silent Hill 4 takes place before Silent Hill gets all Alessa and crazy, okay?
Oh, really?
Like chronologically. I'm gonna go on record to say that. Here's why I say this. Because Ashfield Heights is like if this is like the lake, this is where Silent Hill 2 and 3 took place. Over here is where Ashfield Heights is at.
Oh, okay.
And then up here in this general area is where like the southern business, or not business, but the tourist section of Silent Hill 1 was happening.
Okay.
So that means like geographically, like the oh gosh, what's the place? The hotel and then the amusement park right there.
You're talking about
are like around this area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like catty corner over here. We're like just, I would say, southwest of Shepherd's Glen is where we're playing. Okay, so that's where our map is. And we haven't been specifically here, and we haven't necessarily roamed this place since Silent Hill 4.
Right.
And I like it. I like Ashfield Heights.
I love it, dude. Like how we were kind of skimming through it and gave little hints during our talk. But the diner, the fucking city, you meet the postman again. I mean, they, once again, nailed it. Nailed it on the head. Yep. They couldn't have done that any better.
Yep. I mean, they really did make Silent Hill, I think, more of a sandbox kind of spot.
Yes, yeah.
With what they could.
Yeah. And no, and then what even gave it the even more little touch, which I imagine since you're a fan, you know this. I think it's there. I think I'm getting messed up now. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. So when you go into the certain section, you get the ladder hook, and then and you climb up to it, and then if you go inside the window, you're in the room from Silent Hill 4.
Yes.
And that was fun. That gave me chills, dude. I was like, no fucking way. That was a good little touch. And I'll give them a round of applause for that, because that
absolutely
was cool.
Good job, dev team. You had one job, you did it right.
Things like what we mentioned from the beginning and to where we are now, they nailed it all the way up to this point, and adding that touch made my heart just full. I was like, this is awesome.
It's like the little tiny things that like we don't really need as like, how do I say this? It's not that it's necessary, but it's lovable, okay?
Yes.
We don't want the same monsters for 4 games straight. We don't want the same, you know, going through the what's it called? Like menagerie of different places we could go and visit. My only problem with Silent Hill up to this point was the padding of Devil's Pit.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like we just spent way too long just trying to get to Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And it like, if you cut half that level off, we'll be fine. There's no loss of gameage.
I 100% agree with you, because when that bus crash happened, I thought we were there. And then you like do all bang, 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 bang. And then you go on that trolley, and then it's like, oh, now you're in Silent Hill. And it's like, what?
Silent Hill adjacent, because we still have to get to a train station that's in Devil's Pit to leave. Oh, by the way, can we put a sticker? Can we put like a little pin in this for a second? Okay, so we also meet a guy by the name of JP Sater. He's the guy who operated the train station at Devil's Pit, and you kind of meet him only twice. And I honestly, this is the second time this game has done this, and we kind of skipped over it early on. When Annie is like trying to apprehend us, we kind of get this kind of like, do we save or do we not moment. When we meet JP, there's a moment where it's like, do you talk him off the ledge or do you just
I
like
totally
taunt
forgot
him?
about that.
I don't like this because I feel like this is a Tom Hewlett, and by the way, we'll bring him back up. Tom Hewlett, he's kind of responsible for a lot of things, and this is one of them. I feel like the Silent Hill Homecoming moments of like picking and choosing your fate.
I'm not a fan of that.
I don't like it.
Me
I'm not
neither.
a fan of it.
I was about to bring that up if you didn't. So that was my fault, since you know we've been jumping everywhere.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, no. So just like you said, the pick your choices, and then what I hate is, unlike most story games like that, the outcome doesn't change. So if you talk him off the ledge, he still jumps. When you tell him to go ahead and jump, he still jumps. So like, and don't get me wrong, the outcome obviously changes the ending, but it's still like, why are you giving me this option if it didn't actually change the story? You're just giving me this option to change the ending. And that's throughout the whole game too.
Yeah. And there's like, I think there's only like, maybe like what, one more after that?
Yes. Yeah. But
I can't remember what it is, but maybe you'll remember it.
Yeah, no, not a big fan of that. And then that's why I was going to come up with these monster talks is just like Silent Hill Homecoming. Why are we putting back time attack? I hate time attacks.
Oh,
they're so
that's right.
stupid, dude. Like, it's just like, oh, now you got...
I totally forgot about that.
That's dumb. They really hit that one. And that's when this game starts going down.
Like, I always wonder if this game is just kind of like a child of its zeitgeist, which is German for spirit of the time. Like, so Zeit means time.
Okay.
Tug means, like, if you hear anybody say like, oh, I wrote that in the Zeittug, that means newspaper.
Oh, okay.
The daily time. So Zeittug, I'm sorry, Zeitgeist means spirit, geist, ghost. Zeit, like a poltergeist.
Right.
So the zeitgeist of the time, I think, was a lot of QTEs, breakable weapons. I think, like, I'm trying to remember back in the day, 2012, 2013. A lot of these tropes of like choice-based games in storylines that add up to some result, but like the in game it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Is just weird. It's beyond me. I don't get it. I don't know why. It was weird. It was a weird time, dude.
Yeah.
I can't take responsibility for it.
Dude, seriously.
By this point we're in Silent Hill. We talked about the apartment a little bit. I like the this is kind of like, okay, honestly, like when we get to Silent Hill, it doesn't really open up too much, but we get little traces of these like side quests. I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah.
Now, I will make the excuse that I think this is also padding, but this is good padding, okay? What we just dealt with over at like Devil's Pit, I feel was bad padding.
It is.
But when you add padding where you can like go like la 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 la, like all the way around, that's what I would do in Silent Hill.
Yeah. Same.
You know, like the first one we do is like it has to do with the police cars.
Yep.
Yeah, the police cars. And then there's that one random house where you hear the girl crying.
Yeah.
In the basement.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing you can really do at that time, so you kind of have to leave and then you come back later on. I don't know how he beat that, but anyway. There's just like these like side quests that I absolutely loved doing in Silent Hill. To me, the biggest problem with Silent Hill prior to was that you kind of had to just kind of go to the levels running through Silent Hill.
You did.
And I feel like for once, this is like the game where you can actually do things in the town with certain houses.
And that's why I liked what they did with that, because like I said, loving Silent Hill as much as we do, at the end of the day, you do go to point A to point B, but this one gives you the option to just, you need to explore. And don't get me wrong, like in the other Silent Hill games, yeah, you need to explore, but the benefits of that is getting health and drinks and ammo. And this one, there is that, but there comes at a cost though. Like you said, it's kind of like just side quests, and you just notice like bits and pieces. And I like that. It's different, and that's what they needed.
I think one of the scariest side quests I ever did in this game, and it still to this day freaks me the fuck out, is the one where I wrote them all down. Hold on.
I might not know this one because honestly, I was just trying to get through the game.
No. There's a couple. Well, I'll just say all the names of them, and maybe this will jog some memory. So, Art Collector is one of them.
Okay.
And that's where, like, randomly throughout the map, you'll find rolled up pieces of art.
Yeah.
Or like you'll actually see like a painting, and some of them are also in-game levels. So like,
what?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, so like there's like in the back of like in the back of a car, you can open up the back of the car, and inside is a painting. So you take the painting and you go all the way back to one of the buildings, and in the basement is a table. You lay out all the paintings, and then you use your UV light and you
okay.
mix them all up, and it reveals a map. And then you go to where the treasure's at on your map, which is a graveyard next to St. Maria's, and then you go down and it's a whole level. It's a whole thing. I like that. So there's that one. Birdcage. Have you heard of that one?
I think I have, yes.
That's where like you see like the random blue bird and you open it and it escapes. Yep. Okay, so I don't like this one particularly because like it just gives you like snippets of a scene that's cut up, and I don't think it amounts to anything. I've gotten all the birds, but like I don't get it. Anyway, if anything, it's literally just watching a film, and it's the worst part about this one is that like because I go so long without finding a fucking bird that by the time I get a new scene, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. What was the last scene again? Like, that was like an hour and a half ago.
Right.
And then, yeah, anyway. All Points Bulletin, that's the cop one. That's the first one you meet,
I was
actually.
say, yeah.
The Cinema.
I don't think I know that one.
So the Cinema's a fun one because you take 3 films and you have to figure out how to make it into one film, because as you go into each film, you have to go to the. This is like a very Silent Hill Origins thing where you have to touch the screen to go into the film.
Oh, that's cool.
And you have to find the numbers, and the numbers add up to a key code, and then you have to put all 3 of the films together into one film, and then you can go back in and play the whole film to get, I don't know, more bullets. Bullets. Ashes to Ashes is kind of a sad one.
I think
there's this guy's ashes, and you have to like spread it out.
Okay.
And they're where they want to be. Ribbons is also a sad one. Did you see the red and yellow ribbons throughout town?
That one I have not.
Okay, so if you do play this again, which I don't know why you would, when you get to Silent Hill, there are red and yellow ribbons after the second half of the town. Okay, well, the first third of the town after the apartment, and you find out that there's an autistic girl who got lost, or who would get lost going to school, but her mom left red and yellow ribbons to teach her child, you take a left here, you take a right here, but if you see a blue ribbon, don't go that direction.
What?
And then you find out where the little girl ended up. Sad story. Stolen Goods, that's the one that's in the apartment.
Yeah.
That's where you have to go and do all the ghost things.
Yeah.
The Bank is another one. That was a little difficult because like you go in, well, since Murphy's a freaking jailhouse bird.
Yeah.
You go into the bank, you go down into the vault, and when you open up one of the doors, it sets off the alarm, and every time you set off an alarm, more monsters show up. So there's just like waves of like, I think there's like 4 waves of monsters, and they just get more and more and more difficult.
Oh shit.
Right? But the end result is that every time you go past a wave, it gives you ammunition or whatever to help out. Mirror Mirror, I'm trying to remember that one. Oh, I do remember this one. So you look at a mirror and you try to figure out what's different behind you, and then you interact with it, and then the mirror breaks, and then there's like another secret room there.
Oh, that's kind of a cool one.
Weird little antique shops that's in there. Yeah, that was a fun one. This is the one that scared the hell out of me. Dead Man's Hand. So on the later third of the map, there's a particular house where you kind of have to go in through the back way. You can't go into the house through the front road door. I think it's after. Anyway, it's somewhere out there. Yeah. You go in and you see this guy, and he has like a hole in his heart, or in his chest, and his heart's missing. And you see on the table in the other room that he has the dead man's hand. And so you find out that like the guy's heart was ripped out and it's somewhere down into the basement, but then the basement leads to the sewers, and then we get a sewer level. So,
Oh God.
but you don't know where it's located, so you have to listen for a heartbeat
Oh
as you're
fuck.
traversing through the so that's a fun one because like you have to listen, but like you also have like mice running by, you have like screamers in the background
That's
screaming or whatever,
crazy.
like it's cool. But once you find the heart, you have to bring it all the way back to the guy who is in that house, and you put the heart into his chest, and then and like he's like vice gripped into like into like a table. Like
What the hell?
they were not messing around. But that's the one that always gets me because I'm like, I don't want to do this one.
Right.
Gramophone's another good one. So, just before St. Mary's Cathedral, there's a room that you can like do the fish hook thing with. Yeah, and you get a vinyl, and you put it on the gramophone, and when you play it forwards, you see a body on the floor manifest. But then it says play. It's like saying something like turn back time or something like that.
Oh,
and so
okay.
you play the gramophone backwards, and you see the manifestation of a man with an axe coming back down, like walking backwards
What?
down the stairs, and then he's like he's like, killing his wife
Right.
or unkilling his wife. You have to exorcise the ghost. It's a whole thing.
Gotcha.
Digging up the past is one that happens throughout the whole map. So if you play through the game the first time, you'll get this one. And so where there's like these like candles on like these like cylinder tubes throughout the town, there's like a patch of ground that you can dig up. But those candles will only light up once you play the game all the way through.
Oh.
So if they're not lit, you can't dig them up.
Oh shit.
And when you dig them up, it's like little trinkets for like the game where it's like, oh, look at this trophy I got. So anyway, they're scattered throughout all of Silent Hill. Shadow play is another one that happens throughout the whole town. Essentially what happens is there's a particular house after St. Mary's, so you have to play through St. Mary's. And there's a room where you use your UV light, and on there it tells you what shadows you need to create on the wall. So like there's like throughout the town you'll see like half symbols.
Yeah, isn't there like a crane
you have to go,
or something? You gotta, yeah.
So what you have to do is, and it teaches you in that house that you have to take an item that you find in there, place it in the disc, and then turn it to create the shadow. And then you use your light to make the shadow, right?
Yeah.
And then but the problem with this particular side quest is that you have to do this throughout all of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So you're looking like every single box in every single street, trying to figure out where the hell these things are, because locations vary and it's kind of nuanced and it gets stale real quick.
Yep.
And then you got to worry about the downpour, and you got to worry about where your nearest safe space is, and you got to worry about, Murphy being a dunce. And then the last one is Homeless. That's the guy, that's Homer, our local homeless guy who is in the subway station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever ran into him in game.
I don't believe so.
Okay, so at the very beginning, like if you're trying to like hide from the hey Toby Flames, what's up, dude? So what you're doing is he's like the local, and he's like, oh well, the only way to get around town is to know how to act like a rat. And so like he's like what does he do? I think like the first one's like if you get me some food, I'll tell you how to get to the next level. And so like you have to go and get him like some chocolate and like la 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 la, and then you give him some chocolate. He's like, oh, it's real cold outside, I really like a jacket. So you gotta go find him a fucking jacket.
Oh my god.
And then I think like the last one you have to do for Homer is he's like, it'd be real good if I knew how to if you teach a man to fish, you feed him forever, you know? So you have to go find him a freaking fish line.
Oh my god.
Like a fishing pole, and you have to give it to him, and then he's like, okay, thanks, dude. And then he like opens up the fast travel? I think it's like fast travel in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are all the side quests, and I've done every single one of them.
Damn.
It was a lot of work, and I don't envy myself.
Especially in that game.
I don't envy myself. Not once, not never. That takes us to the city center, the radio station that frick, what was his name? Howard tells us to go because DJ Ricks keeps on playing us music for no freaking reason.
Right.
How do you feel about DJ Ricks as a character? I felt like he was a throwaway again.
Yeah, they did a lot of throwaways in this one. I'm not gonna lie. And, you know, just like in the beginning and middle and fuck, even in, like, because, like, you meet the girl, you know, the cop, Anna, and granted, she's not a throwaway character, but you see her that one time, and then you don't see her until later. And then it's like, then, same thing, you find the postman, then you don't see him until later. And then, you know, so just like you said with that one, it's just like, I kind of was getting a rhythm of, okay, again, these are just fillers. Like, hello, I'm this guy, and later on, there's a town full of monsters.
Yeah.
So
I totally feel that.
I didn't really get a connection from him as much as I did from the postman right off the rip.
I mean, he kind of like shows up like around Devil's Pit area.
Yeah.
Right? But like ever so slightly, and then he kind of becomes more of a nuisance, I think, because he's just like, hey, is there anybody out there?
Right.
Am I the only one here?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, by the time like we get to DJ Bobby Ricks, I'm like, okay, dude, you've been making, you know, you've been getting phone calls, you've been playing Akira Yamaoka's music, right, on the radio station. And by the way, this game also has a thing where if you play the radio, for streamers out there, you're probably gonna get like a silence on it because there are copyrighted songs from actual artists like Anna Thompson, etc.
Yep.
Frank Sinatra's in there for some reason. Louis Armstrong's in there. So, you know, he's playing real music. He's playing in-game music, but then he's just kind of like, when he asks you the question, when Murphy asks DJ Ricks the question, like, what is going on here? He's like, dude, we can't talk about that. And it's like,
yeah.
Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we kicking the can down the road? And then Annie shows up for the second time a row, which, by the way, I have a problem with Annie, and here's why. She makes it a whole thing to hunt us down. We run into her in Devil's Pit, and then she's like, I can't kill you. I'm sorry, Dad, or something to that effect. And then she has daddy issues. Yeah. And then she like lets you go, but then she has a change of heart by the time you get to the freaking radio station, and then monsters happen. Yeah. Like, what? What is going on here? Like, who was the writing team on this one? Like, I feel like there were more than one writer. Yeah. And they just kind of stitched each other's
ideas together.
Things together. I don't know how to explain that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
don't know. What do you feel about it?
They did poorly, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, is like the beginning was beautiful. The town was awesome, in my opinion. But after that, it just... I think after... I mean, I really ain't got much on the radio station, but after that is when you go to...
St. Maria's.
Is that where... Okay, and the whole, like... library or doll, right, where you meet the new monsters, correct?
You also, that's the same building though.
Oh, that is the same building.
Yeah, the dolls.
Dude, yes.
So like in the city streets, we run into the prisoner minion. We run into screamers. We have the bat monster still.
Right.
But then by the time we get to the city center, we have the dolls.
Yes.
Which freaked me the hell out. The void shows up from time to time on the night. What do you call it? The other side.
Yeah.
And there's also the monsters. I didn't really count this as a monster, but the ones that are like on the walls and they kind of like go blah, you know, like from the vest.
That was dumb.
That was kind of a throwaway monster. I don't understand that one.
Back to kind of what we talked about with the monsters. Let's go ahead and cover the doll and the minion.
Okay, so the prisoner minion, I'm gonna throw this out there. Tis Peak. Okay. Because I think that like that's a very good representation of like something that could be scary for a guy who's been in prison, that you're gonna be brawling with a bigger guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That makes sense. You know?
The thing that it was for me was just like you said, yeah, I agree with that. It just didn't have that Silent Hill character to it. Enemy, I guess you could say. It was, and again, granted, it was evolved around another convict, you might as well say it was, like a bigger convict, but it just didn't feel like it had Silent Hill horror in it. It just...
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan
Okay,
of
I'm gonna drop it down to it gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
It gets the job done, but it's not Tis Peak.
Yeah.
Okay, I changed my mind. I take it back.
The doll, on the other hand, I agree with you. I want to say definitely Silent Hill character as well, but you did like that one was creepy. I didn't like it, and how she always laughs or cries or whatever the hell she does. I forget. It's like
it kind of looks like. She kind of looks like a adult toy.
See, and that's what I thought.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like a sexual frustration caricature.
Same. And no, I found out it's literally just a mannequin. I was just like, oh, well.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know why. Well, that's not fair because he makes a comment about how, like, sexualized they are.
That is true.
I swear he does that. I swore he made a comment about that. When you first run it, before they're enemies, and you find out that they're coming after you, there's one lying on that chair there.
Yeah.
Right? And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, well, that's very provocative. And I thought to myself, like, that makes some sense because we've got these brawler guys outside.
Yeah.
Some inside. But then we've got this, like, mannequin that's kind of, like, you know, too... obvious, you know what I mean? The screamers are just throwaways at this point.
They
you know?
were the thing that I hated about the dolls was they were kind of like the screamers, where they were really fast paced. While your guys like, you know, they were just like slash, and it's just like I can't keep up with this shit because then when you got 2 or 3 on you, then you're getting hit from the back and then in the front, and then you guys like chime it, and it's like, oh my god, dude, you can't do that.
I think like the technique behind the mannequin dolls is that like they have the shadow projections that come after you. Right? But like if you destroy a shadow projection, it destroys the mannequin. But if you solely go after the mannequin, it destroys all the shadows.
And me personally, I fucking hated that idea. It's dumb.
Oh really?
I thought
it was interesting. I thought it was interesting because we don't get monsters like this in Silent Hill.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I design choice on that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because to be fair, and I hate to compare apples to oranges, but Travis also fights mannequins, and he does it bare knuckle.
True. Well, those were puppets, weren't they?
Oh shit, yeah, they are puppets.
Those were the puppets, right?
They were puppets.
The only shadow characters that he does deal with are the ones at the sanitarium.
Yeah.
And I don't even mess with those. I just go,
same. Yep.
You know?
No, that freaked me out when I first seen them. I don't even want to talk about that.
Just the cage, and then like maybe your light doing
I thought my game was
body.
glitching. I was like, what the fuck? I found out.
Me too. Me too. So that brings us to Saint Maria's Church.
I believe, and
so we are like.
No, you can keep talking. I'm just want to double check.
Yeah. So we are like at almost the climax of the game, right? And I don't know about you, but I never picked up. I mean, like they did like little like glitches of like little like vignette like videos of Murphy playing with like his son in the front yard.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of give like a directorial kind of like the bicycle that's on its side with the wheels spinning. Like I thought, okay, someone's kid got ran over. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, Murphy was a family man. I can kind of see that, but either I'm an idiot, I missed the notes, I missed the hints, but honestly, I did not give a care about his son, about his wife, about his family, or why he's in jail. I, to this day, don't know what got him in jail, to this day. Okay? Because if you think about it, if you read it, okay, he was playing with his son, and then his son decided to go play with, like, I guess, out in the lake or some crap, and then he, like, drowns, right? The police find his son, and then, like, what, he goes to jail for, like, parental abandonment or neglect or some type. I don't know. It's very convoluted. I don't understand how he got in jail, but it must have been something other than his son dying. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
I hate to break it to you, but all the way up to this point, and I know that we've been skimming through and talking about characters and maps and everything like that, but actually, this is where I kind of ended my gameplay because I couldn't move on. It was too damn long, dude. It lost its touch with me. I was done with it, and I was bored. So I'm not gonna lie to you. From this point on, I'm gonna let you continue talking because I don't know anything else about it. That's why I stopped it.
Okay.
I refuse to go back to the game. I can't. I literally had to like at least be like 30 packs deep just to maybe think about playing the game again. Like,
okay,
it's bad.
So I will say that this is one of those levels that I got easily turned around in. There is a particular puzzle that I actually liked, where you're in like a miniature theater in the chapel. It's a chapel, okay? It's also an orphanage. Here's the kicker. You run into a couple of characters from time to time, but they're not really pinnacle. One of them is Sister Mary. And she kind of greets you, but then she's kind of like, okay, come on in. And then she like disappears, right?
Right.
I did not know this, but there is a little girl in this particular scene. And there's a little boy, all right? And when you meet the little boy, he says, he kind of alludes like, you're the boogeyman, aren't you?
Yeah.
And Murphy's like, no, I'm not. He's like, that's what the boogeyman would say.
Right.
It's
remember
very
that.
weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird conversation. I feel like they had two voice actors and they didn't know how to tell them like, stop being weird. So anyway, you kind of have to go on this mission for this little boy to find this poem, because if you say the poem, it makes the boogeyman go away, right? So this is where we get our, if you notice, in Silent Hill Homecoming, we called Pyramid Head not Pyramid Head. He was called the Boogeyman. Now we have a character named the Boogeyman. Tom Hewlett got to have his moment. The Boogeyman is a character that shows up right about this point. Well, he kind of showed up in the radio place, but not like 100% there. And also there's another character called the Wheelman, the Wheelchair Man, sorry, the Wheelman, Wheelchair Man. So you see him at Devil's Pit.
Okay.
When you put money into the spyglass, and you zoom in on the terrace, there's a ghost of a man in a wheelchair. And he kind of like turns and looks at you, and then he disappears.
Right.
In the radio tower, he shows up, and you run up to him, and then you slide and you fall and all those things.
Yeah, I dodged that.
Like,
bullshit. Let's talk about that real quick, if you don't mind. Let's put a pin right there.
For sure.
The whole floor dropping, because even though I stopped playing the game there, I was a dedicated person and I did watch other people continue playing it. I just couldn't do it myself. With that being said, I don't know 100% of the story still because that was off of other people. But the whole dropping down and sliding in and going through like these saw traps that you have to like.
Oh yeah.
That shit was stupid, man.
You didn't like it?
No. Like it was cool and I felt like anxiety even watching it. But why was that?
You get a lot of those, by the way. You get those in,
I noticed that towards the ending.
I'm trying to remember. Did that happen in Devil's Pit? I don't think so.
No, it happened.
You get it in the radio.
Yeah, that's what
station, and you also get another. You get another one in the next level too. So they do it twice. They committed, because they do it twice.
Yeah.
They do it over at St. Maria's as well. I didn't like it. No. There's 3. There's one over at Devil's Pit.
Is there?
The Devil's Pit in the dark side of the Devil's Pit restaurant.
That's right.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that was a cool one, but I do feel like you go a long time in game with not. But they did one right at the radio station, then bam, right at St. Maria's as well. So it's kind of like they didn't give enough time to let you not be like, oh, here we go again. Because I remember playing in St. Maria's, and you go through one of those slide things that I was like, ugh, okay, well, I'm gonna die like 3 times.
Right.
So the wheelchair man shows up again, and he is literally a disfigured human being who is in a wheelchair. He gets self-pushed around, because I guess spirits. The boogeyman looks like, I don't know, some kind of cross between a dude with a really huge axe hammer and like
a biohazard.
What's that mask? Biohazard? Yeah.
Like a gas mask, like from World War II type shit. Yeah.
Right. He's huge. He's very domineering, and yeah. So
how do you feel about that guy being the pyramid head, though? You know, I'm not too fond of it.
I didn't get Pyramid Head vibes from him.
Not once.
Honestly.
Until the ending of the game, and then I realized, like, oh, that is Pyramid Head. Like, and I
always thought of it as like a manifestation of Murphy.
Right. Well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, because like the little boy goes, "You're the boogeyman."
Right.
And then when you're saying the poem to the little boy, the boogeyman shows up, grabs the little boy, and snaps his neck, and then after that, like, the little girl screams. Never again. Don't ever start a cutscene with a girl screaming. Makes me want to punch, elephant pillows. Teddy bears. Come to find out, this little girl is supposed to be Annie Cunningham, the little girl version of Annie,
what?
The police lady who's been chasing us down since like the very beginning. That's what her character name is. The little girl at the church. I had to write this down to remind myself. Young Annie is the little girl at the church.
Wow.
I did not get that from my playthrough. I never once thought that was Annie at all.
Huh.
Yeah. Shortly after that, we realized that I guess Murphy needs to let go of the grief of losing his son.
Yeah.
So
pulling a Silent Hill Homecoming here with his brother.
Yeah, they really, like, I don't know why, but I felt like this game was going on a track, and then they pivoted really hard to just kind of sell this story that happened in Silent Hill Homecoming for like the whole game that did not even take place in Silent Hill. And then they were like, well, since we're here, let's put this small plot line into Silent Hill as like some kind of grief that our characters, let's make him more human for like a level.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then we play a little bit more of Silent Hill, and then we get the keys from the boogeyman body, and that's the keys that DJ Ricks was telling us about for the boat that he and us were supposed to go and escape Silent Hill from.
Yeah.
Plot twist, DJ Ricks gets murked. Like, no, they threw him away. So we're just after these keys for this boat that he's got at the moor. And by the time we get there, we turn over the engine and then bam, there's Annie with a gun pointing at us. And he's just like, come on, we've survived. We don't have to do this. We can just go to the other side of the lake, go our separate directions, and no one would know any better.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I don't know, like, did you feel like... Well, you didn't play this part.
Well, I watched it, but...
But you watched it. So, and I also have it on my YouTube channel, too. At this point, I feel like that should have been the end of the game. But no, we get a what's called a coda. A coda is a part of a piece of music that the artist wants to play again.
Yeah.
Okay? Typically like a highlight, or like, you know, Michael Jackson's really huge on codas. Like his music goes on for like 5 minutes straight and you're just like, oh my God, hurry it up, Michael Jackson.
No, I want to throw in here though, real quick, at least
for sure.
in my behalf, the thing that made it lose touch from me was I had no connection with the protagonist. And with that being said, I'm not saying like, oh, I don't feel like I'm a convict, but that, you know, in a way, it's just like until, like you said, Annie comes back and aims a gun at him. That's when the gears turned in my head and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like we're an escaped convict. And that's what I hate about this. And again, those of you that never played this game and is listening to our podcast, is we are skimming through this, you know, pretty good.
As best as we can.
But like where we're at right now is probably like 2 hours long of a gameplay, maybe more depending on how much you explore.
Maybe more.
And died.
Yeah.
So we're skimming through this pretty decent, but it takes so long, and that's why I hated about it. Is like when I played as Travis, I hate to go back to Origins, but I'll skip around here. When you play as Travis,
beginning of the end.
Like,
Origins was the beginning of the end.
You knew that you were a guy filled with trauma. When you played as James Sunderland, you were collecting details throughout the game where you realized you were the murderer. It's like this game, like to the point where we're even at. I forgot we were even in jail, and I hated that.
I wish that they played the cat and mouse game different.
100%.
At this point, I wish that Annie played the cat and mouse game. Like you felt like you were being chased by her.
Right.
Through every level, as opposed to like, you know, from Devil's Pit to here at the very end where she allegedly shoots you.
Yeah.
And then you go to the prison level, the final prison level.
Right.
I honestly just felt like if they played the cat and mouse game harder, I would have loved that.
Yeah. No,
not this kind
agree.
of lackadaisical la 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 la, you know?
Yeah.
If I knew that Annie, like, actually, you know what? If they took a note from Silent Hill 4, where Walter Sullivan chases after you for the second half of the game, I would have loved that if Annie was doing that.
Yeah, I can agree with you. Because
she didn't see any of the monsters because she's living her own Silent Hill fears.
Right.
But she's going after you, and you have to somehow dip, dodge, duck, dive, and dodge to get to a safe place or a safe house. And they give you like a 5-minute, 10-minute timer before she walks in. I would have loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, that, like, I don't know why no one thought that, but like, why not? You know? Prison area, I felt like was a throwaway. You kind of feel like you're playing the first part of the game, but instead of a intro walkthrough, you're playing like a deep dive version of that. At this point, you play against the wheelchair man, the bigger version. So defeating him's not really that hard. You gotta have to run around to 4 separate spots, and you have to pull the thing off, and then, you know, wackadoodle him. And then it cuts to a part where I didn't like this. It felt like an ending for an ending for an ending at this point, because at that point Annie is like, you know, upset that you killed her father, and you're like, I didn't mean to. Murphy Murphy kills people in prison, by the way, people.
Yeah. Yeah,
if you didn't get the memo at the beginning of the game,
I was gonna say it's right off the rip where he literally he technically paid off the police officer and then murdered the fuck out of that guy, which that
Officer
was cool.
Sewell.
That was cool. Scene.
Right.
I like that one.
Yeah, yeah. It did. I mean, it did have some like some prisoner tropes in there, but not like the obvious ones.
I wish
like,
it
don't
was
drop
just
the soap.
more in depth though. Like it just comes back to like I totally forgot we were a convict throughout the game, and I hated that. I wish it was more like you gotta know that.
If we didn't change our costumes throughout the game,
that too, yeah, I did like.
We were constantly reminded. Yeah, I did like it, but also like the problem is that like, you know, aside from I'm sorry, Travis. I'm not saying Travis. Aside from Murphy, kind of being standoffish from people because he's very untrustworthy of people initially. Like, I mean, he's like that with the postman. He's with that with Homer. He's with that with
everyone.
Annie. He's with that with DJ Ricks even. I'm just sitting here thinking like, aside from that no one would ever know that he was supposed to be a convict by the end of the game.
Yeah. And I didn't like that.
So yeah, that is literally every level, every side quest, every bad guy, every character.
Oh, real quick though, what I want to bring up at the ending of the game is when you become the boogeyman.
Oh, I totally forgot that part.
Was bad. I did like that. I wanted to play that.
I like that. Yeah, there's 2 endings to that, by the way.
Yes.
So one ending is that you know, kill Annie.
Yeah.
The other ending is that Annie kills you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's if you're not trying, because like I accidentally thought I was invincible for some reason.
Dude, swear, dude. When you're hacking and slashing, you're 7 foot tall now. That was a cool touch, but that comes back to what I mentioned earlier, how that was the Pyramid Head, and now you kind of play as Pyramid Head. I wasn't a good fan about it. Granted, am I like, am I fangirling about it right now? Absolutely. I did like it. I just didn't like how you was the Pyramid Head, and that's what you brought up when I told you, wait, like, hold on, because because I was like,
don't bury the lead.
Moral of that story is, you are the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And
I'll say for playing as the bad guy, Tis Peak, I like that idea.
I agree with it. Yeah.
It puts a different spin on like who the monsters are.
Yeah.
You know? And also let's see. I don't know why, but I also wondered, like, why does Annie see us as that monster? You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It was...
My thing is...
It was just a different spin, I guess.
When it comes to... What I like to get back on real quick is when it comes to level designing, the beginning and the town and the prison just... nailed it, but like the caves and the fucking carts and all that other, dude, they could have done better. But what I would like to ask you, which I imagine you probably was gonna ask me, overall though, if we're talking, like you said, we'll go off of your ranking, what do you think the game was?
Okay, they tried.
You know what, I will agree with you on that one.
Affectionately, they tried.
Would I play it again? No. I couldn't even play it the first time.
I would only play it up to... I would have to... The only reason why I would want to play the game is because of all the side quests, because of...
Dude, and see, that's what I did, because actually, I played the game when it first came out. And I just never touched it again until I was going on this completion on my Twitch on... going through every single Silent Hill. That's when I started playing it again. But I do agree with you on that, though. Every single time I do go back to Downpour, honestly, it's all the way up to the city part where you get all those side quests, which I didn't even know half of them, I'll be honest with you. But that was just, it's just done so good. It really is.
That part, yeah. That part, We love it. Keep it. Add more if you want, like more side quests. Love that shit.
And I want to throw in here too, just in case
Yeah.
you didn't know, because honestly, I didn't hear you bring it up. So just in case you didn't
Sure.
know, I would like to at least let you know. The bonus ending.
Oh,
Dude, that was cool.
yeah, the
And
ending.
I wanna get into that topic. First off with the
Sure.
music. You heard the bonus ending song, right? My
Yeah.
wife heard that because I showed her the ending of Downpour and how like, oh, they're all there. Like Silent Hill 2 was there.
Yep.
Heather was there. Pyramid Head cut the cake. And
cake, yeah.
she heard that song in the background. I didn't even point it out to her. She heard that song and she goes, "What's that song's name?" I looked it up and she's just like, "I love that song." And she does.
Yeah.
That ending bonus, like it gives you that emptiness. Like, oh fuck, dude. Like it really does. Like it's sad. They did that. That was a cool little bonus ending. I love it.
I like that they used like I said, Louis Armstrong
Yeah.
for music. You know.
I still can't believe they did Korn. You know me and Korn.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
Right? I'm kind of surprised about that too. For listings, I would say Tis Peak, the side quests. The side quests, the side quests, the side quests. It gets the job done.
Yeah.
The story got the job done. It wasn't perfect, but it was like, eh.
Yeah.
Silent Hill as a game, they tried affectionately.
Yeah.
The monsters, this ain't it.
No, not at all.
There was a lot more downers than there were uppers, and I forgot another monster, and that was the Juggernaut prisoner, the bigger version of the male ones. I wasn't really feeling that one either. That's why we kind of like
lack of detail. They literally just took the minion and made him beefier and not stretch his face out, and it lacked that. And like you said, it made him more more stronger. And it's like the prisoners were annoying enough.
And it was a design choice. I was just gonna say the main and side characters.
Yeah, I don't like how everything was throwaways, and even your own character, they were like, oh, by the way, you're a convict, and they didn't really touch up on that. Like you said, I didn't even know why we were in prison either.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Yeah, just say. I told you that I got some notes from dev team here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So let's see if this like helps out the video game a little bit.
Okay.
The development team was told that the idea of first off, the video game was supposed to be in development team. It was supposed to be a first-person shooter and an option for a multiplayer. So think of that. That was the beginnings. That was like when people were being told like, oh, Downpour's coming out.
Dude, they should have kept that. I don't know about the first person. I'm a first person player. I'm
not.
See, I am. I love first person. So I think that would be cool. But the multiplayer, that would have been something.
Like Demonologist?
Yes.
The multiplayerism of it? Like,
yes.
Yes.
That would have been cool exploring Silent Hill with your friends, unlike Book of Memories.
Okay, so, right. Konami told the dev team the only requirement was to be about the visitors being in Silent Hill rather than Alessa and the cult stuff.
Okay, so like you said, shy away from that.
They delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah, they delivered. I think they delivered on that. Because honestly, like, your 8th installment, you're still talking about a cult and this dead girl and everything that... Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. Murphy's criminal background is supposed to be unsettling.
I didn't get that at all.
Silent Hill had influence from, I'm gonna butcher this city because I don't know I don't know the Republic of Czech. I don't know any other cities, but it's called Brno.
Oh, really?
Brno. Brno, Czech Republic. The dev team took a lot of influence from this city, and also a place called Propas Mokacha. I might have said that as well, and that is the inspiration for the Devil's Pit.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I just typed in Brno. I'm looking at pictures. There's a lot of caves, and they have that chapel there. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to see it for myself.
Yeah, right. Oh, actually, there's a bunch of tombs in there as well in those caves.
Yeah.
I did some research prior to this, and that makes a whole lot of sense for the side quest. The one where you go into the tombs and things like that. There's a lot of like, it almost looked like I was in that place.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going into some place like historically for the tombs.
Right.
Or the caskets or whatever you call that. And yeah, they did a really good job at that.
They did.
Dev team, you did great. But take a look at the laundry list.
Yeah, literally.
And I brought this up earlier, offline. This video game birthed a comic series.
Oh, yes.
And it particularly starts off with where Annie falls the first time in the pit as Murphy is escaping the first time. And it tells, it's the comic is supposed to tell about how what she experienced through Downpour, not the Murphy side.
Oh, okay.
Here's my complaint. DLCs? Anyone ever heard of them?
DLCs was a thing at that time too.
You know, like, yeah.
Like, I understand like PlayStation 2 era because it really wasn't. They normally made like a number 2 or, you know. But yeah, at this time, yeah, DLCs was a thing. So what the fuck? That would have been, I mean, I would be interested in that one. I would have bought it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
yeah, well, yeah, but like again, if they leaned into the cat and mouse game between a cop and a robber,
right?
You know, that's classic. Everyone knows that storyline. Why?
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out is that this was one of those video games that came out very controversially, and reason why is because the Silent Hill team or community, the Silent Hill community, much like I myself and you, I don't know if you were aware of this at the time, but people were very, very upset with this game.
Oh yeah. Oh, I knew right off the rip.
There was a lot of backlash, and I feel really bad for this guy, but here's the thing. When you put your name on something and you claim to be a fan, and then you pull one of these things off,
yeah.
I'm not saying that what happened to him is okay. I personally would not wish this upon other people, but I mean, we're talking like death threats. We're talking about like letters saying
Holy
like,
shit, really?
Yeah, it was really, yeah. So, look up Tom Hewlett. He was one of the writers of Silent Hill Downpour. He also took care of Book of Memories later on. And Book of Memories was probably like that last nail in the coffin there. He was also I think he was a producer or head producer for the Shattered Memories game as well.
Shit.
So he has like a train of like just,
so
I'm sorry, but from Origins onward, once it got out of Japan, and came into essentially non-Japan dev team hands, what with Climax Studio going from the English development team to the American side, you know, all those things. I'm sorry, you gotta take the responsibility, dude, but I don't wish upon you that, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
and what I'm starting to learn as I get older and everything, and maybe, you know, I'm just don't know the actual science behind it because I'm not a game developer, but especially with what's going on right now with Silent Hill 2, they're blaming Konami left and right, because at the end of the day, Konami is the head honcho, the mafia boss, whatever you want to call it. And it seems like as you were bringing shit up about the developers with Konami, it just seems like, honestly, Konami was just bullying them. Like, hey, you gotta produce this game out. You said you were gonna make it, so let's see it. And then when they were making it, then they were like, no, you can't do that, you know? And that's kind of like what they're doing with this remake with Bloober Team. Because I've been noticing that they've been kind of doing that with them, and Bloober Team wants to tell them stuff, but every single time they like come out with another trailer or something else, at the end of it, notice that they're like, we can't do anything because Konami's not letting us. And Konami's right behind it. They're like, yeah, we're not. No. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Right. If Konami took a literal playbook from Capcom, we would not be here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to explain that. I mean, it's not that I'm like a Resident Evil fan. I like both, but Silent Hill has a spot in my heart because it was like my first scary game that I ever played. But like, the thing is like, if Konami just did like a cranial rectal extraction for like a day and just allowed their dev teams to be creative, to put together the material that, you know, I don't think Bluter team or productions, I don't think that they've ever put out a game that hasn't done really well. Like, we're talking Layers of Fear, we're talking like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other ones. But anyway, point is, they have a catalog. They know what they can do it. Just let them do it.
Yeah,
you know?
And again, like, with this being said, if this ever comes out there, I'm not trying to shit on Konami because obviously, like you said, they
we are. I will.
But,
I will.
He said I will. But yeah, like, stop being an asshole, dude. Like,
yeah.
And that's all they're doing. They're like, hey, we want you to make this game, but you go by our rules. And it's just like, how are you gonna let a developer do that?
It's 2014 all over again.
Literally, they are fighting. And it's sad to see because it makes me think, like, it scares me, honestly. I think every day that, honestly, Silent Hill 2 remake isn't going to happen because it's just going to be it's going to be like a PT where it's like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Or it's just going to be another stamp of, you know, same things, like, you know, gotta have a sewer level, gotta have a pyramid head, gotta have nurses, gotta have these characters,
but we're
gotta
not
have the
tell you
storyline
anything because Konami won't let us.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, if Blitter Team was to hire a whistleblower, I'll be more than glad to take all the secrets and then just, like, I don't know, randomly tweet them, like, you know, once a month or something like that, up into, you know, release date.
Absolutely.
You know. Right?
But that's all I got on Downpour. What about
That's
you?
all I got too, dude. Like, that was literally Silent Hill Downpour in a clutch.
It really was.
Dude, I think... So, like, one last thing, and then we'll wrap this up. Downpour compared to Silent Hill. We did Silent Hill last month, or I'm sorry, January, right?
Yeah, I
so think about the beginnings.
After this, real quick.
Think about the beginnings, right? We did Silent Hill, and that's our love child. And then we've got Downpour, number 8, over here. Between the two of them, if you were to put both of them next to each other, which is really difficult to do because you got this dream child over here, you got this thing over here. Can you compare both of them to be in the same world? Can you sit there and say, well, maybe Downpour has better, like, graphics, so it wins, but it fails on story, and, like, if you were to put Silent Hill and Downpour neck to neck, who would win out?
Obviously Silent
Only
Hill.
These two. You can't, only these two. Only these two.
Silent Hill. 100%.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Me too.
Just because that was what it is, you know.
Yeah.
You can't, like, when I think of a game, like, let's just say I never played Silent Hill in my life. Like, I'm talking about the original one, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
When I think of the name Silent Hill, that's what the game was, is exactly what I would think. Just fog, fucked up manifestation shit, and a dude looking for his daughter because shit hit the fan. When you tell me Silent Hill Downpour or Silent Hill, I don't think of a convict that you have nothing to know about and a boogeyman.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be harsh here, but that's what it is. There was no fog,
and
there
also,
was no nothing, like.
And also, like, a huge mismanagement of just characters.
And same thing, I'll go in more depth with that since we're on that little bit of topic, just real quick. Again, when I'm thinking of Silent Hill, scary schools, scary hospitals, scary, like, that shit's terrifying. All right, I don't think of a fucking cave, like a cavern
Mm-hmm.
or something. I'm sorry, but that's what I think of the game. That's all it is. It's just like, oh, you got a little bit of town, cave, a little bit of this, cave, and it's like, dude, I'm tired of these cave levels. I'm not a miner. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
convict. Why are we in the caves?
Yeah. Keep it short, sweet, condensed, give it its moment, but then like stop going back to it. You know what I mean?
And it was just
And again, like I said
caves.
earlier, I feel like Tom Hewlett really wanted that story of like that kid that drowned in the lake
Yeah.
story, you know, to be a thing.
Right.
Because he did it in Homecoming, or well, it was done in Homecoming, so let's
Right,
just
yes.
pack it in there.
The thing that I
Last
was
minute.
laughing at earlier, though, and what I mentioned earlier, how we shortened this game up within an hour length and just skimmed through it. So I just was curious on my own behalf. It says that actually it takes 9 hours to complete the game. If you want to fully complete the game, as in do all the side quests and everything, it's 16 and a half hours.
I agree with that. I think I did that on my YouTube channel.
And I'm like, that's why I started laughing, because that's when I realized, like, we, and in a good way, we really skimmed through that for you guys. So if you want to, and that's why I stopped playing. And it's not because of how long it took. It was just how long it took with shitty story.
Well, and that's how I feel about The Last of Us. It took me over. It took me over.
Last of Us is
Steam.
long.
Steam told me I spent like almost a full day playing The Last of Us, and I was like, yeah, because majority of it is me going like sneaky McSneaks for 4 hours straight. Like, I'm tired of this game. Like,
yeah,
I could Campbell condense that game down to like maybe 15 minutes,
right?
Maybe
right.
10. But yeah, hi Mads.
Oh man, so,
yeah, so
that's it for me, man.
Yeah, that was Silent Hill Downpour, everyone. Freaking our hot takes on it, freaking how we feel about it, all the characters, the monsters, the locations, like all the things. Like, that was a doozy of a
it's
of a
one
pod
hell
there.
of a ride. It's one hell of a ride, and trust me, it's not a ride that you want to take.
Well, and I honestly, like, I wish that, like, I don't know if it's worse that I would rather Silent Hill would have gone off with Homecoming than Downpour. You know?
Yeah.
Have a good night, Mads. Love you, hon. Mwah. Well, guys, next time, we'll try to do the same thing we do every night. Trying to survive. Don't forget to like, follow, and hit the subscribe button, and join the patronage. Every bit helps. My name is Sean, and this guy over here,
I'm Dominic /DDogCat36.
Hell yeah, he is. Let's see. Wishing you all the best till then, and we will also like to shout out our moderators. For me over here, we've got Light Bright Indie, DDogCat36 over here, and King J935. You want to shout out to anybody there, Dom?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Ha, 1693, and my boy Nuncle J Rod.
Oh yeah, dude.
And Sean as well.
For real. Make sure to join our communities here. I'm gonna throw out there the socials and all those things, and we'll see you all on the other side of what's up.
What we say normally, we always forget this part. I need to start writing it down. What we say all the time during our at the ending of our podcast. If you guys would like to share us your experience of Silent Hill Downpour, what you think, what you are thought of, make sure you let us know, because as Sean always says, we're going to do a bonus episode once we get enough people tuning in and telling us all their comments from previous episodes, and we're going to combine it all in one and tell you about your guys's, and maybe you guys will get a shout out from that. So
absolutely, I totally forgot about that. Thank you, dude.
Yeah,
I totally
always
forgot
forget
about that.
it.
But yeah, stay safe out there. From the evildoers out there, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Don't pollute on my side here. And yeah.
Later
right on, dude.